Hello, this is Richard from Beyond Marathon. Today I'm going to take you through a course briefing for the Millennium Way just to show you a few interesting places to pay attention to. So I'll look forward to seeing you all on Sunday or reacquainting myself with those of you who've done this event or any of our events before. Other than that, I'm going to step straight into the briefing. So you'll excuse me for glancing away from the camera while I have to stare at the screen a little bit, but hopefully this will all make sense. Right, we're going to skip on to Google Earth just to show you the whole course at the moment. So this is the original planned route, and there's also an alternative which I will tell you about. Actually, the blue is the alternative and the blue is the original, and the red is the alternative route. So I will tell you a little bit about that as we go on. First of all, let's jump into the start location, which is over in Newport. So the event registration is at the Newport bus station. There's a toilet block here, which hopefully will be open in time. And then after you've all been to the loo, those who've stepped off the coach, we will have a race briefing. The coaches normally arrive around about 8 a.m. So I will usually arrive a little bit before that, 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the coaches, and start to register people. Then really pretty much by the time everyone on the coaches has been to the toilet, it tends to be about 8:15, at which point we will then start around about, after a briefing, around about 8:30 almost exactly. So navigation wise, you'll be all following each other around these first few streets as you head out of Newport itself, and you'll head down towards the bypass, the A41. Now you can probably see on the map here the GPS route actually takes you around the original intended route for the Millennium Way, which actually starts at this point there. Now you can see a lot of building work here. This has actually subsequently been completed. There's some shops, a little garage, Marks and Spencers and Subways and all sorts of things here. It is technically possible now to run through there, and there is a small road crossing here. I think I can show you an image of it if I flip over to this. Here we go. All right, so that is the way you would normally come from, and you still can come from that way, cross over at the roundabout, run up this path, and then head up along the Millennium Way. Alternatively, you can kind of cut that corner and come straight through here and use this crossing. Just bear in mind though, this road is busy. Shouldn't be too bad on a Sunday morning, but it can be pretty busy. So whichever way you want to go, follow the GPX round there and cross at that point, or you can cut through by the petrol station and cross over at the little crossing point there and then continue on. Okay, from then onwards, you are on the train line for about 10 miles. So turn your brain off navigation. You're just running straight the way through this train line here. You will cross the road. I think you crossed the road at Nosal a couple of times, and other than that, you will have a huge gain of about, I think it's about 20 feet, which is one of the only hills on the entire route. As you climb up towards the motorways, you go under the M6 at this point in time. Shortly after that, you'll come out into the fields here at Stafford, and hopefully you'll see there's a little car park there where our checkpoint will be located. This is the best cheering point for your supporters, usually very busy, lots of people we get down there. So highly recommended because there's a car park, so there's plenty of availability for many people to come and visit you at that point in time. So all the checkpoints will have all of the items which indicatively are listed in the participants guide. So all various types of food and drink to keep you going, water, juice, usually Pepsi as well. Okay, so after you've left checkpoint 1, you're going to go across the first roundabout. Just before the second, there is a sharp little turn off. I think it's cycle route 55 from the top of my head. Yes, it is. In fact, it says there, cycle route 55. So you turn left. At that point, you go up and over the railway bridge. There's a little bridge there that leads you up, and then as you head down after the railway bridge, you take your first right into Castle View, and there is a little cut through, hopefully you can see there, that allows you to join the river. If you missed it, you can carry on to the main road and pick up the river at that point, but it'll save you 30-40 seconds of time if you take a right turn there and join the river. At this point in time, you're then going to be just running alongside the river until you get into the gardens at this point in time. Let me just turn off these photos. There's lots of little icons. And you'll cross over the bridge and head into the gardens themselves, the little park, the bowling green, and then come out, turn right, and head into Stafford town centre. Let me see if I can drag the little man onto the map and show you what that looks like. So you will have come from this direction, and you'll know you're in the right place because you're in between a couple of you're between a bank, a couple of signs here for the bus and the bank. So when you get to the Nationwide, you actually want to turn right at this point in time, only for about 30 meters, and then turn left to rejoin the river route. So let me just exit back at that point there. Let me put it back northwards. So here we are again. That is where you will have turned left briefly and then right to continue to follow the river. You're going to continue right along the river, right along the river, right along the river, up until the point where there's a ramp at the side here, which you're forced to go up. So when you get up to the ramp, you would if you were following the original route, you would usually go this way, which is through to there. Now, for the last 2 years, we changed the GPX to use an alternative route because this is very often underwater. As a result, it's the River Sow. It's very often completely flooded. It is also the field, which is a graveyard for many people's running shoes. A guy several years ago on his birthday, rather famously, I think, lost his shoe. It was his 50th birthday run. Lost his shoe in the mud and never found it again and had to retire from the race shortly afterwards. So that is not a field you want to go into at this time of year, especially after flooding. It's going to be wet. So stick to our GPX route, and you'll basically follow the route around GC Elstrom, which is there. That's GC. Right. Let's zoom back out. So you will be led along this cycle route, and you'll join the canal at this point here. And after that, easy running, following the canal all the way along around Shugborough Hall. There's Shugborough Hall there, all the way to checkpoint number 2 at Wolseley Bridge. So checkpoint number 2 will be situated just on here. That's where we'll be set up. Just a word of warning for those who are thinking of coming here. This road, A51, is very, very fast and dangerous. You wouldn't want to bring any kids trying to be crossing this road. If you don't try and park over here, there's a bit of a green where you might be able to cram a couple of cars on, but they're typically used by the CP staff. If you do want to park and visit someone at CP1, then there is a pub down here, there's a garden centre over here. If you ask them nicely, I'm sure you can pop your car in there for half an hour and then just walk the 200 metres on the pavement and then just walk down the path to the canal there. So that's what I would recommend your supporters do. Don't try and park over here, it's too dangerous. Right, once you've left Wolseley Bridge, there are 2.5 kilometres later, there's an important thing not to miss, and that is at bridge number 68. So if I just wander along the canal here, bridge number 68 is here. And it's very important that you do not miss that crossing. It is signposted for the Millennium Way, but do not miss it. The reason being is you will be on the wrong side of the canal, and it's not easy to get back onto the other side if you miss that point in time. You'll have to go quite a long way through the town centre and rejoin it somewhere around here, if I remember rightly. So it's easier to ensure you don't miss bridge number 68. It does say it in your route guide, so you cross over that at the right place and you'll then be on the right side of the canal. And the right side of the canal is going to take you through Rugeley through to Armitage, where you leave the canal. You'll more or less know you're in the right place. There's a bit of a raised area with a church on there. I think it's St. Martin's, something like that. And what you'll then need to do is, as soon as you're past that, just as you join the train line, and this is the main train line, you take a very sharp left turn and leave the canal. This is around about marathon distance at this point in time. So you will take a sharp left, go underneath the train line, and then you're into what would normally be the fields section. Now I'm going to highlight the original route and the old route. The blue route here is shown in the blue route is shown as the original, which is the original Millennium Way. The red route is our alternative. There are two GPX files inside the zip, which is on the website right now. There's one labeled Original Roads. There's one labeled Fields, Not Roads. The red is the roads version, the blue is the fields version. Now, there's nothing dangerous about the blue area at the moment. It's just that it is particularly wet and muddy in some places. So it's up to you which you choose. In all honesty, these first few fields are absolutely fine. So if you want to use the original Millennium Way and just cut straight across those to save yourself a few hundred meters, by all means do. To be quite honest, it's going to be the same speed whichever way you go because this is a tarmac lane. Do take care on all of the tarmac lanes, of course. So you will shoot through here and you're still pretty much following the Millennium Way until you get to Pipe Ridware. And this is where I have suggested that most people may want to make the change and flip over to the road route. What does Pipe Ridware look like? Let's drag the little fella onto the map here and show you. Well, it's helpfully signed with the words Pipe Ridware, and usually the original Millennium Way route goes behind a little path here, which you can't quite see, behind this holly bush, and then shoots off past the old church and across some what are particularly muddy fields at the moment. So it's up to you, but I would probably be favouring the road alternative. The road alternative is about 0.6 of a mile longer, but it is undoubtedly going to be faster. So the road route itself is about 5.6 kilometers in total. So do take care on these lanes. They're mostly fairly quiet. You are likely to bump into some traffic, so do take care if you use that road section. So that road section will take you up through a place called Hamstall Ridware. So fundamentally, the only directions you need to know are after you leave Pipe Ridware, you're following signs for Hamstall Ridware. This is Hamstall Ridware here. And when you get into Hamstall Ridware, you take a right turn and you're following the road to Yoxall. So it's about 2 kilometers all the way through. You'll ultimately be rejoined back up with the route at this point in time. You can carry on and use this section. Actually, that isn't really too bad. But if you do want to make sure you are keeping your feet dry and less muddy for longer, then just continue on. And just before you get into Yoxall, there is, let me show you again, a little 30-mile-an-hour sign. In fact, let me scoot back a little bit on the road. Let's see if we can see it a bit further. Right, okay, there it is. Doesn't show up very well there, but there's a 30-mile-an-hour sign, and just after the 30-mile-an-hour sign, you turn right, follow that right the way through to Ferris Fields, which is where our final checkpoint is located, and where I think this year Dylan and Rachel and Claire are going to be waiting for you to give you some refreshment. After that, after you've visited Ferris Fields here, another warning actually for people who wanted to park, don't park anywhere along this street. Locals not very happy generally if you block them in. It's a cul-de-sac. If you need to park anywhere, park way out of one of these roads here. So don't park along any of these because it's too difficult to get vehicles in and out. And we had one particularly annoyed resident last year because a photographer blocked his drive. So please make sure you park well away. There is a pub down here for those of you who want to wait for some wait for the runners. And after you have left CP3, you will then will have to do a road section, a field section. So at this point in here, there's a little black and white house there. You turn right and you will do a field section. Not too long, in all honesty, but you are likely to come across a little bit of mud, but it shouldn't really be too bad. Now there is a change that we've made to the original Millennium Way route. You used to go through the golf club Witchner Park Country Club at this point in time, and the original Millennium Way route actually does a bit of a D shape down there. This is the River Trent. The River Trent has some flooding. Last week, all this pretty much was covered in water, this section. But a month ago, we already took a decision to cut that out. Nothing to do with the flooding, just to do with the change in our finish line location. So it was a happy accident that we'd already cut that out. So once you get to Witchner Golf Club, don't follow any Millennium Way signs into there. You'll probably encounter a lot of water fairly quickly. I suspect it's still somewhat flooded. So all you're doing is once you come off the fields at this point in time, you're then going to continue along the road all the way to Witchner Bridges. And when you get to Witchner Bridges, you're going to have to go back on yourself a little bit and join the canal. This is the A38, and for much of the A38, there is a footpath that runs alongside the canal as well. A couple of weeks ago, well, actually not even a couple of weeks ago, about a week ago, Barton all the way through here actually closed the A38. This was covered with water due to the River Trent flooded. That's now subsided. It is all passable, but if you're finding that the canal is a little bit muddier than you would like, where it's safe to do so, you can, if you wish, join the A38. You may want to join it at this point in time, or you may just want to stay on the canal. It's entirely up to you, whatever you prefer. You're not going to gain anything. They're both running parallel to each other right the way until you get into Burton Trent. You'll obviously have to get off the A38 at some point in time and rejoin to make sure you head into Burton itself. Now, this used to be our start line venue. It's undergoing some renovation at the moment, so we're not finishing there this year. This is Shobnall Leisure Complex. So instead of the usual turn left and turn right into Shobnall, we're heading across the other side of town to the high street of Burton to our other finish line, our finish line this year, which is at Meadowside Leisure Centre. It's a fairly easy divert. You come off at Shobnall Marina here. This is where all the boats are, and you turn right. You go straight ahead across a couple of roundabouts, and after you've gone past the second, you take a right fork, and I'll drag the little guy on here and show you again. So you've come from this way, and you're going to take, you leave the road at this point in time and stay with the footpath and take that left fork there, and you'll come out in a little industrial estate. So let me just exit Street View again and show you what that looks like. So here you are running along this purple line here. You'll come through in the industrial estate, left at the T-junction, and keep going straight ahead until you hit the high street, at which point in time you turn left. So here's the high street. You turn left, follow the high street all the way up, and then turn right into the finish here at Meadowside. You may have already read in the book, Meadowside charge for car parking. I think they charge £5 for all day. So it's up to you if you want to pay for their car parking or you want to find somewhere else to park your car. You have to do a bit of research into where is free and where is chargeable. But anyway, they do charge a fiver in case you want to park your car there. And that is pretty much it as far as the course is concerned. One last thing to mention about tracking URLs. We normally use our race drone platform for tracking, but we've introduced a brand new one called Track Trail in the last couple of weeks. It's still undergoing final testing, but it is usable. Last weekend, we're still ironing out a couple of bugs regarding viewing the tracking link on iPhones. So you can use either the race drone tracking URL or the Track Trail URL. The Track Trail one is a really nice system, and I'll show you it in a minute. The race drone one, if for some reason your markers aren't appearing on your particular phone and browser, just use the race drone one. But if you get the opportunity, encourage your supporters to use the Track Trail one, and I'll show you what those look like right now. So this is our traditional race drone URL, racedrone.net/event/Millennium Way, and you would see all the little markers appear on here on race day, and you'll be making your way across there, and all of the your names and numbers will be listed on there. So if you are race number 1, then you will have a flag called 1 on there. Note that you will all get a tracker like this one here. The tracker has a number on it as well, but that number is just for our purposes, and it is not related to the number which appears on the tracking map. You're going to be using your race number, your bib number, for the purposes of tracking. So this is our old website. This will function on all devices, iPhones and everything. Our new one, Track Trail Live, is here. And this is a far sleeker, faster, far more impressive interface that does all sorts of fancy stuff. And a participants list will appear here, fully populated on the day. It will count up the number of kilometers which you've completed so far. It'll allow your viewers to be able to look at a leaderboard. That leaderboard will register with all your names on here, as well as showing all the distances. It will also enable them to route to there. So if they click on there, you should see navigate to checkpoint 1, navigate to checkpoint 2. So we've added these features to enable your supporters to easily find their way to the checkpoints and to the finish. When you click on it, what happens? Well, let me click on finish now. What it will do is it'll open up Google Maps and it will plot a route from wherever they are right at that minute, i.e. on their mobile phone, through to, in this case, Meadowside, which is the finish line. Neat little feature, we think. And furthermore, what it will also allow you to do, if I go back onto the main page, when the participant list comes up, one of those little navigate to flags will appear next to the participants list as well. So if you are lost or you want your support crew to pick you up, they can click on the little navigate to icon next to your name, and that will navigate them directly to you as well. So very handy little feature for locating missing people. And bear in mind, you can also bring up this tracking link on your own mobile phone. So if you think you've gone astray off the route, there's nothing stopping you from bringing it up, finding yourself on the participants list. You can search and find your name, find out your flag number, and then you can go and find yourself and put yourself back on the route. You might be here rather than here. The tracking map has lots of maps to choose from now, so as well as various flavors of Google Maps, including the satellite view and those kind of things, you've also got Ordnance Survey mapping of various flavors, including the usual 1 in 50 and 1 in 25 maps. And my favorite at the moment are the Mapbox maps, which are very fast, very responsive. There are about 10 different types, including pirates. Not sure what that one's going to be useful for, but we've left that on there for fun. But if you use the standard streets version of Mapbox, you'll find those maps are really fast, very responsive. The main innovation you'll see on these particular maps is no longer does the tracking map page update once a minute, or do you see all of the trackers suddenly move in one go. Each tracker will independently be sending its data in every 30 seconds, and you'll see each tracker move on its own. So you see your people will see a lovely little trail of trackers constantly moving and showing the direction of travel as they go up there as well. So hopefully get some value out of the tracking system at the weekend. I think that's more or less it. So I'm looking forward to meeting you all on Sunday, and good luck in the Millennium Way.